It is a case that has haunted Paulding County for decades. A young girl murdered on her walk home from the movies.
More than 60 years later, there are new developments in the homicide as her family pushes for justice. Here's this week's Case Files. Home to around 3,600 people, the village of Paulding is a small town where word travels fast. Most people know the name Nancy Eagleson. The young girl's murder has been unsolved for 62 years. Back on November 13th, 1960, Nancy and her 5-year-old sister went to see a movie in town. They stopped at a restaurant on the way home. It would be the last time she was seen alive. Nancy and her sister Cheryl made it almost a mile from the movies and were nearly home when Nancy was abducted by a passing driver. The suspect was described as a white male wearing dark glasses and driving a dark-colored car. Detectives say Nancy's sister ran for help, but it was too late. The 14-year-old girl was abducted, raped, and then murdered. She was found dead hours later, nearly 8 miles away in the woods near Route 111 and Road 176.
This is, as I refer to Nancy's case, the most emotional case in our county's history.
Paulding County Sheriff Jason Landers is still working the case today.
You know, there's a lot of untruths that are in this case. There's a lot of small town theories that I battle.
He says tips come in often, and there are plenty of written records, but a majority of the physical evidence is missing.
If the evidence in this case was still here today, this case more than likely would have been resolved years ago.
There's never been a break, but with the hopes that technology could help crack the case, in September of 2022, Nancy's siblings petitioned the court to have her remains disinterred. Ohio's cold case unit, along with multiple other investigators, completed a new autopsy, which revealed new evidence about the case and how Nancy died. The results indicate Nancy was shot not once, but twice, and the shot that killed the teen was to her right eye, not under her chin. Pathologists also found a projectile, and there was hope it could lead to the killer. During that time, a gun was turned over to the Paulding County Sheriff's Office, claiming it was the weapon used in the crime, but the projectile is not intact, and investigators cannot draw the connection.
So we know that the .22 revolver that was turned over to BCI was operable. It worked, and they can preserve the shots from that to make a comparison. But the evidence that we now have in Nancy's case is not able to be tested.
After another dead end, Sheriff Landers is simply waiting for someone to come forward with information that could finally give Nancy's family closure. And he's holding out hope that the missing evidence is still out there.
Could it be in someone's shed? Could it be in someone's basement? Could someone in law enforcement the past 62 years took this stuff home as a keepsake, and their kids or grandkids still have grandma and grandpa's stuff and they just didn't know what it was?
For this week's Case Files, Christina Williams, 13 Action News. And if you have any information about the homicide of Nancy Eagleson, you can call the Paulding County Sheriff's Office. The number's right there on your screen. You can also submit anonymous tips on the Paulding Sheriff's website or by using the Paulding County Sheriff's app. And if you have an unsolved case that needs attention, email me, casefiles@13abc.com.